to start reading classic books but you find them really difficult to read, or if you have no idea which book you should start with, then this is the video you need to watch. Hey guys, welcome to Books Amaze, and in this video I'm going to help you out with adding classic literature to your reading routine. And for that, I have some easy peasy lemon squeezy classic recommendations for all of you. I have been reading classic books properly for 3 years now, and I can say that I am in a position to help you out with that. But trust me, it took me some real time to get on board with classic books, as some of them were quite complex and daunting. But thankfully, I didn't give up on them. I kept experimenting with different genres, tried to look for summaries and explanations online, and it really helped me a lot. And now it's like I crave for reading a classic book because I know the beauty it holds and how it is so different from the modern world books. So especially for you, I have picked up 7 different recommendations of classic books which are slightly different from each another. They are of different genres, which will help you decide which book you should pick first. So let's get started with this video. One easy way to start reading classics is to go with children's classics. They are easy to read, funny, and they are super entertaining as well. One recommendation in this genre is Matilda by Roald Dahl. This story is about a little girl, Matilda, who is extremely intelligent, way more mature than her age, but unfortunately her parents doesn't recognize her talent and they constantly try to demoralize her. And to take her revenge, Matilda plans prank on her parents, which is super fun to read. And Matilda's friendship with her class teacher is one of the beautiful relationships I have read in books. Roald Dahl has written some other equally entertaining books as well, such as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Fantastic Mr. Fox, etc. But Matilda is my favorite of all. So make sure you're not missing out on Matilda and thank me later. Talking about children's classics, my second recommendation is The Little Prince by Antonio de Saint-Exupéry. But I can't keep it only in the genre of children's classics because it is way more deep than that. It holds a philosophical tone to itself, and the message that this book tries to convey is that we are so consumed in this whole process of growing up and in becoming adults that we sometimes forget how a child sees this world, how curious and imaginative a child is, which is a factor which is lacking in the grown-ups. And this message is conveyed by the author through the story of a little prince who comes from another planet altogether. This is a book for people of all ages and is an absolute treasure. The next book in this recommendation list is Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach. This is the shortest book in this whole list, and this book is about a seagull who is very ambitious. His name is Jonathan Livingston, and he wants to learn to fly up above in the sky, and he wants to learn different flying techniques. But the other seagulls in his group constantly discourages him by saying that we are seagulls. We are not meant to fly up above in the sky. We should just know how to fly just in order to hunt for food. But Jonathan Livingston is not a bird who is just meant to survive and just to hunt for food. He wants to learn how to fly properly. So this is actually a metaphor for all of those people who are very ambitious. He wants to get ahead of the crowd and who wants to make something big in their life. It is for people who follow their hearts and make their own rules. So this book will motivate you to do something big in your life, even though people around you are constantly trying to pull you down. My next recommendation is Animal Farm by George Orwell. In this story, there is a farm called Manor Farm which is filled with animals of all kinds. There are some animals who are kind, compassionate, hardworking and wants to live peacefully with other animals. Whereas on the other hand, there are some animals who are shrewd, cunning and wants to take over the farm by applying the rule of divide and rule. It might look like some regular animal fable at first glance, but actually it is an allegory to the Russian Revolution. It is a savage comic masterpiece by George Orwell to depict how power can corrupt even the most kind minds. This book takes a dig at the so-called paradise world of progress, justice and equality. Even though it was specifically targeted at Stalin's Russia, it still holds true for all the political scenarios across the globe. So don't miss out on this one. My next book recommendation is Siddhartha by Hermann Hesse. This novel has delighted, inspired and influenced generations of readers, writers and thinkers. This is the story of a wealthy Indian Brahmin who lives his life full of pleasures to embark on a journey as a monk to find the meaning of life. This is Siddhartha's journey, and with him we also embarks on this journey where he meets different types of people such as merchants, saints, prostitutes and tries to find the meaning of life. What makes the story so different is that it gives you a message that you won't have to renounce everything in order to attain inner peace. You can do so by living a regular life as well. The language here is also quite easy, and this book is filled with nuggets of wisdom and beautiful quotes. Next up, we have The Diary of a Young Girl, also known as Anne Frank Diary, which Anne Frank wrote when she and her family were held captive by Nazis in German war. I have read many books on World War II, but this is my favorite. This book has been published in more than 60 languages. And the language of this book is very simple, yet it is very painful and very beautiful at the same time. There is a pain in Anne Frank's writing. You can sense that pain. The pain of living in a war zone, pain of not being understood. But there's lots of courage, bravery, and hope in her writings as well. This is a modern literary classic, and after 75 years of being published, this book is still loved by people everywhere. And since this was an actual diary, the language here is pretty easy, just as how you and I would write a diary. My next and last recommendation in this list is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This book has remained one of the popular novels in English literature. This is a love story between Elizabeth Bennet and William Darcy, which is written in a very satirical manner. And although this is not an easy to read book, but still I have included this in my list because there are lots of film and plays adaptations of this book. There's also a movie called Bride and Prejudice, which was this book's adaptation in which Aishwarya Rai acted as Elizabeth Bennet. And you'll see lots of summaries on Spark Notes and otherwise on internet as well. In fact, I have also made a 25-minute long video in Hindi summarizing this book entirely. So you can go ahead and watch that video before reading the book, but don't miss out on this because it is a complete fun ride and a timeless classic. So these were my top 7 recommendations for easy classics for beginners. I hope you have liked them. And the good news is that I have reviewed all of these books separately on my channel. They are all spoiler-free videos. So I'm going to mention all of those links for these videos in the description box below. So make sure you go ahead and watch all of them. And you can decide for yourself which book you want to pick up first. And make sure to follow me on Instagram and check out my other videos as well. I'll see you soon with another video. Till then, take care of yourself and keep reading.